Former Republican candidate Nikki Haley has been delivered a final humiliation by the former president and convicted criminal, Donald Trump. On Tuesday, Haley had officially released the delegates that she had won during the Republican presidential nominating contest and, of course, encouraged them to vote for Donald Trump, which, again, she had already endorsed Trump and all that. Not a surprise. Even after she had spent her campaign criticizing him, which I guess that's part of a primary campaign, you've got to criticize the other guy, she then eventually bowed her head to Trump and endorsed him because that's what she does. I mean, she did what Trump spokesperson Stephen Chung had already prophesied, that she would kiss ass when she quits. And that's what she did. 100%. And again, nobody is surprised about any of this, right? Now, what does she get in return for this show of fealty? A big fat nothing. Nada. Not a goddamn thing. Because of course, right? Next week, the RNC holds its convention, which will feature a lot of conservatives, even some who ran against Donald Trump, like Ron DeSantis, for example. He'll have a speaking role. Ron DeSantis, look at that. Getting back into it, even after having a pretty bruising primary against Trump, where he dropped out after the first day, the first contest. He did not do well.
Florida's ground zero for the nursing home. I mean, we're God's waiting room.
What happened to Ron DeSantis' campaign mirrors what happens to a lot of people that go to Florida. They go to die. Anyway, I know. So, getting back to Haley, she didn't even get invited to the RNC. So, I mean, what's different? I mean, Ron DeSantis, he left after Iowa and then continued to, or I should say, he went and kissed Donald Trump's ass. But so did Nikki Haley. So what's the difference here? Not sure. Well, let's get into it. So now, she got snubbed, both her and her voters. Now, back in February, the 19th published an article titled, "What Nikki Haley's Run Means to Republican Women Who Don't Love Trump." Which makes the case that to some conservative women, Haley had personified a position within the MAGA movement that wasn't wholly devoted to Trump and his selfish ambitions. Maybe this has something to do with it. Mel Leonor Barkley reported, "I feel like all of this, Nikki Haley's a rhino squasher, is really just cutting off our nose to spite her face. Because so many of the women I know really like Nikki Haley, even some who may be voting for Trump." That's Sarah Curran, a former political consultant who is now running for a Greenville, South Carolina State House seat. Curran spent years helping recruit candidates to run for office as Republicans, including Republican women. Whether you agree or not with Nikki Haley's platform, you can't help but tip your hat to her for being a trailblazer, said Curran, who also co-authors a newsletter about conservative women. So, aside from it being primary politics at its worst, I think we're really hurting a lot of people who might want to follow in their footsteps. And I think it could really harm recruitment efforts, at least for the immediate future. So, look, that's what a conservative woman thinks about it. I think you already probably know my position on elected Republican women. I think that they are mainly used to try to tear down other women, to take away their rights. And in return, hey, these politicians, they end up getting the benefit of being able to share into the wealth and power. Not to the extent of the men, but generally they're made pretty comfortable, okay? Now, remember, there's a lot of conservative women who have said, at least openly, that they believe that their role is to support and be subservient to men. However, there are some, like Nikki Haley, who are careerists. She tried to reach beyond that role and to gravitate towards power to take some for herself. Okay. And it always ends the same way, with a majority of Republican voters saying, no, women should not be holding those positions. That said, Haley did get a lot more support than I think a lot of people were expecting, certainly myself. And that, I believe, is the reason that Trump is snubbing her. On Wednesday, for example, Fox News Radio asked Trump about Haley not being invited to the convention, and he said, quote, "I'll take a look at that. There's a lot of bad blood there. She stayed in the race too long. I wish she didn't stay so long." Why? Why? Is it because Donald Trump thought that maybe her staying in the race for too long hurt him with prospective voters? Well, again, he was already going to win. It was pretty much a foregone conclusion. And he knew he was going to win, so that can't be it. In fact, when asked if Haley's support would help him with moderates, Trump replied, no. And then saying, they're not going to vote for Biden. Biden is a low IQ president. They're not going to vote for him. They're going to vote for Trump. So it's not that she did any damage to his campaign in his view. No, at the end of the day, he's always believed that he was going to get those voters anyway, and very likely he will, okay? It's because she had the gall to stay in and maybe take some of the voters that he believes belongs to him. So, hey, don't take stuff from me. No, this is mine. This is supposed to be my chance, my turn, all right? I deserve this rematch with Joe Biden. How dare you try to challenge me? Maybe, but then again, so did Ron DeSantis, and he got invited. So what's the difference with Nikki Haley? I don't know. So now the Biden campaign, by the way, speaking of Haley voters, Biden's been trying to pick those Republicans up, and I don't think it's going to go very well. Now, the Biden campaign head of outreach, Austin Weatherford, and a spokesperson, Kevin Munez, met virtually with a group of 14 Haley voters from various states, some of whom are local leaders who served on Haley's state leadership teams. Now, one of the voters who had been on those leadership teams said that they saw January 6th, so they can't vote for Trump. Oh, so you're saying there's a chance they can vote for Biden? No. Turns out, this person said, I also saw June 27th, the debate, and I'm not sure I can vote for Biden. So understand that, like, outside of Democratic insider circles, a lot of people saw that debate and were like, uh-oh, I don't know if I can vote for this guy. Again, this is outside of Democratic circles. So if you're like in the insider bubble, or if you're in your, blue wave Facebook group or whatever, you're not going to see. You're not going to know the extent of the damage that that debate actually did with people who could potentially come over to the Biden side. And this is a good example of some people who could cross over saying, oh, I don't think I can do that now because I don't think Biden is up for it physically or mentally or cognitively. And so you already have a majority of voters saying, I think Biden might be a little too old. And so these are potential gettable voters that might end up going either for Trump or not writing anyone in. Another told the Biden campaign officials that the president had not given them a positive enough reason to vote for him, which it would be very helpful if Biden were to have a platform, a plan, which they have not released. There's really nothing on his issues page of what they're really campaigning on other than Donald Trump bad, okay? We've got to have more of a reason than that. We already know Donald Trump's bad. This person said that they would likely leave the top of the ticket blank. One woman from Arizona had urged the campaign to have a more prominent role for Vice President Kamala Harris. Oh, look at that. To discuss more issues besides abortion and reproductive rights. And is convinced that Harris may be president one day if the Democratic ticket wins. Right? Officials told the group they understand that to win over voters like them, they need to talk about more than just reproductive rights issues, including foreign policy and immigration, another source said. And one man from Alabama also raised concerns about the administration's EV policies, electric vehicles, and told the officials their defenses of the policies were not effective with people in his community. And so, yeah, that's an economic as well as a climate change concern. So I think that either people will not vote for Biden or they will ultimately vote for Donald Trump at the end of the day. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/ Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.